Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be a review of the Infinity Hump Pro from infinitymice. So 2 months ago to this day, I reviewed the Infinity Hump V1, and if you don't know what this is, it's basically a swappable shell that you can easily install on your finalmouse, which alters the shape and gives it a more claw grip oriented shape. I'll compare the shape to the original Starlight. This Pro version I have is for the small Starlight. You can see that the Infinity Hump is a lot longer and taller, and it will give you palm contact in a completely different area compared to the small Starlight, which is just going to taper off and is a very flat mouse. One thing to note that I mentioned in my original Infinity Hump review is that if you play fingertip grip, this really is not worth it. As you can see, my fingers are not contacting the hump, so there is really just no point in swapping the hump if your fingers are not going to be contacting it anyway. Additionally, this new Pro version is made out of magnesium and actually does add a few grams. With the Infinity Hump, the small Starlight weighs 3 grams more than it does stock. I also do have some hyperglides on. I don't know if that contributes to the weight as well, but yeah, it's not going to massively affect the weight balancing. It definitely does make the mouse a bit more back heavy. If you put like zero pressure and fingertip grip, you can notice it, but when you are putting pressure and claw gripping with your palm contacting the back of the mouse, it's not going to feel like the weight balancing is off at all. But for fingertip, I really just don't recommend the Infinity Hump across the board. But if you play claw grip, which is what the hump was designed for, it definitely alters the experience, and depending on your personal shape preferences, it could make the experience a lot more enjoyable, especially if you want some stability that you're used to on mice that have high back humps, but you can just never get out of a finalmouse stock. I'm sure people are going to ask what shape the small Infinity Hump compares to, and while they say it is inspired by the Hot ES, it's more just the high-profile nature of the Hot ES, because you can still see that it is a taller, chunkier, wider mouse in general. So I say it's more a mix of the Hot ES and the Xtrfy M42. If you look at the M42 hump, you can definitely see the similarities between that and the Infinity Hump. But since the Starlight is shorter and thinner than the M42, it really leads it to feeling like its own shape, but sort of inspired by a smaller Xtrfy M42. So I do like this shape a lot. If you want the Starlight to feel a bit larger and more designed for claw grip with a high profile hump in the back, then this is definitely something that could be for you. It is the price that makes it harder to recommend. For the V1, this plastic 3D printed piece, it was $30, and I really had no problem recommending it, but $70 for the magnesium version, it's just a lot of money for a small back shell to put on your mouse. I understand that it essentially makes the mouse a new shape and can improve the experience for people, but on the other hand, you could have gotten a Viper Ultimate for $60 recently on Amazon Prime Day, so it just puts into perspective how much you are paying for this little just magnesium piece. And I do know infinitymice is a small company. I like their owner, but yeah, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, this is a great value. No, it's really expensive, and you have to really want to change the shape of your finalmouse to buy one. Also, if people are wondering what I prefer between the small infinitymice hump and the medium one, I definitely prefer the medium personally. It makes the Starlight feel like more of a true medium mouse. It feels a lot more balanced in the palm area, and it's just a size that I am more comfortable with. While with the small, the hump is a lot more aggressive, and with the Starlight small being so thin and short in general, even having that high profile hump, it's still going to feel like a very small mouse, especially if you have large hands and play claw grip, and you will lose out on some like maneuverability compared to the stock Starlight where there's no hump in the back. So it's really just going to depend, and unfortunately at the price point, without having the cheaper versions available, it's not really something I would say you can just take a chance like an experiment with. It's more of an investment, considering the fact that this costs more than a decent mouse. So I really do hope infinitymice comes back with the 3D printed plastic version at some point, because I think that's a bit more accessible to a lot of people. Or maybe people want to pay $70 for the Pro Magnesium Hump. I honestly don't know. I got sent a review unit. But yeah, another thing to mention, very minor, is that there is a slight fitment issue. I was told that the tolerances will be better for the retail batch, but yeah, you can see on both sides it is not perfectly even. It connects at the middle, and it's even there, so it's fine functionality-wise. It's just a minor aesthetic detail, I guess. Also, they do make two colors, black and white. I would not personally get the black. It kind of makes the Pegasus look ugly, but it would fit perfectly fine on a Phantom, which is what most people have. Also, the TENZ mouse that is dropping this weekend is not going to have a different shape. You can come back to this after the drop when I am correct and be like, yo, boardzy, you were right. Because I don't know, I'm just sure people are going to be like, oh, the TENZ, just wait for the TENZ mouse. So there is definitely a place in the market for the Infinity Hump. I do think it was a lot more accessible before, but if you are interested, of course, I will leave a link in the description. I think I do have like a coupon code, so it might take a few dollars off that. It's nothing more than 10% though, so you're still going to have to be paying a good bit for the Infinity Hump Pro. But yeah, that's going to be all for my review. Don't get me wrong, I still do like infinitymice and what they are doing and just how easily you can get a totally different shape on a finalmouse, despite the fact that finalmouse themselves are not changing up their shapes. So I'm happy with what they're doing. I just do think that this current launch is priced pretty highly. But if you're interested, feel free to check it out. Like and sub if you enjoyed, and peace.